It wasn't a radio outburst, it was a coded SOS. Worst race I've ever had, balance-wise, Hamilton confessed after dragging the SF25 across the line in Spain, and then came the knockout. Zero positives. In a team obsessed with damage control and polished PR, Hamilton just set the paddock on fire. No metaphors, no diplomacy, just raw, visible disgust with the machine Ferrari handed him. The car that was supposed to be his redemption arc has become a trap. And when he added, "I'm sure they won't find answers, it's probably just me," it wasn't self-doubt, it was irony dipped in gasoline. From the outside, P6 after a post-race penalty for Max Verstappen sounds acceptable, but the real story was written in lap 9, when Ferrari ordered a swap with Leclerc. That's when the narrative flipped, from contender to passenger, from leader to scapegoat, and Ferrari? Silent. What broke first in Barcelona? The setup, the car, or the trust? Lap 9. One radio message, and the unspoken hierarchy inside Ferrari was broadcast to the world. Swap positions. It wasn't strategy. It was submission. Charles Leclerc, barely holding P7 in qualifying, had shown enough pace in Hamilton's mirrors to earn the green light. But what followed wasn't just a pass, it was a message. Leclerc surged forward, slicing through the field like the car had suddenly unlocked a hidden mode. Hamilton? He sunk and stuck behind, out of sync, invisible. Was it just pace or political timing? Insiders whispered it before, now it screamed in telemetry. The SF25 behaves differently in each garage. Rear instability for Hamilton, grip recovery issues only on his car. And the difference? Setup or sabotage? Because when a car refuses to rotate mid-corner but comes alive under another driver, the problem isn't just mechanical. Ferrari told the world this was unity, but on track, Barcelona exposed the fracture line, and that line runs right through car number 44. Ferrari claims the SF25's problem is simple, a nervous rear. But what does that really mean when only one driver feels it to the extreme? Hamilton's car wasn't just unbalanced, it was unpredictable. Corner entry felt like walking a tightrope in the dark. Meanwhile, Leclerc carved through the pack with surgical precision. Same car, not in feel, not in fate. The team insists both drivers get equal machinery, but telemetry tells a different story. Hamilton reported brake inconsistencies, mid-corner snap, and delta losses that didn't match degradation curves. All weekend, his engineers chased ride height adjustments and aero tweaks that led nowhere. The SF25 under him wasn't just flawed, it was resistant to correction. That's not a bad car, that's a mismatch. And here's the silence that screams. No one at Ferrari has explained why Leclerc's balance stabilized while Hamilton's degraded. Not publicly, not convincingly. So we ask, was it setup divergence or an internal decision to prioritize one direction? Because when the same tool works for one and breaks the other, the issue isn't just mechanical, it's political. For Hamilton, Ferrari was supposed to be the final chapter, the one where the legend bends history. But legacy doesn't intimidate Maranello, it threatens it. And Barcelona may have exposed more than just a bad race, it revealed a team struggling to handle greatness from the outside. Internally, whispers are growing louder. Hamilton's feedback is too sensitive, his demands too complex. Translation, he's asking for changes the current structure isn't ready or willing to deliver. And when the 7-time world champion says, "I don't know what to say, I just had a terrible day," that's not confusion, that's restraint, because the truth is heavier. This isn't about driving style, it's about culture clash. Ferrari thrives on instinct, emotion, mythology. Hamilton thrives on data, precision, and trust. And right now, trust is fracturing. Engineers who once led Leclerc's charge now hesitate to retune for a new Alpha. The ghost of Vettel's downfall echoes in every debrief. Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to be liked, he came to win. But in Barcelona, it became clear, he's not just fighting the grid, he's fighting the system. There's a moment in every champion's career when the machinery stops being a tool and starts becoming an enemy. For Hamilton, Spain was that moment. Every lap felt like betrayal. He pushed, recalibrated, adapted, and the SF25 gave nothing back. The rear snapped under braking, the front washed wide under load. Balance? Gone. Predictability? Dead. And worst of all, progress? Zero. His words weren't frustration, they were diagnosis. "I believe we've got something wrong with this car, mate." Not, "I drove poorly." Not, "We'll regroup." He knew something fundamental was broken. And it wasn't just aero, it was identity. This wasn't a Ferrari designed around a champion, it was a Ferrari resisting one. Meanwhile, Hülkenberg, in a Sauber, overtook him in the final laps. That wasn't just humiliating, it was symbolic. Hamilton, a man built for dominance, now trapped in midfield warfare against cars with half the budget and double the traction. And as he radioed in, his tone wasn't angry. It was hollow, because when a car doesn't respond and a team doesn't explain, a driver stops asking questions. He starts preparing exits. Ferrari says help is coming. Upgrades, the magic word, supposedly arriving in Austria, maybe Canada, maybe not. But here's the trap. Upgrades without understanding don't fix dysfunction. They mask it, and Hamilton knows that. He's seen teams chase performance while ignoring character. That's how legends get lost in development loops. The SF25's Achilles heel is clear. Instability under load, inconsistent rear traction, and an aero balance window so narrow it strangles setup freedom. The new package, a revised rear suspension and floor tweaks. But ask yourself, why wasn't this implemented earlier? Why now, after a public meltdown? Because this isn't proactive engineering, it's reactive politics. Barcelona forced Ferrari's hand. But upgrades born from panic rarely deliver harmony. They introduce noise, complexity, delay. And while Leclerc may adapt again, Hamilton demands transformation, not patchwork. If the new spec fails to tame the car, or worse, destabilizes both drivers, the internal storm will escalate fast. What's coming isn't just a new component, it's a test of loyalty, hierarchy, and whether Ferrari built this team for a hero, or just for headlines. After the race, Hamilton didn't storm off. He didn't shout. He withdrew. That's more dangerous. When a driver stops speaking, he starts calculating. And as the media circled, desperate for answers, all they got was silence wrapped in sarcasm. I'm sure they won't find answers. It's probably just me. That wasn't defeat. That was a veiled accusation. The kind that sends shivers through PR departments and shakes foundations inside garages. The media played their part. Soft questions, hollow reassurances. But the paddock saw the truth. This isn't a slow adaptation. This is erosion of trust, of alignment, of purpose. And the body language? It screamed louder than any headline. Hamilton, distant from engineers. Leclerc, praised publicly. Vasseur, evasive. A team pretending all is well while the house quietly smolders. Fans noticed, sponsors noticed, and rival teams? They smell blood. Because when internal tension spills past the paddock fence, it's not just drama, it's opportunity. Barcelona didn't just cost Ferrari points, it cracked their image. Now the world isn't asking if Hamilton can win. It's asking if Ferrari can even keep him. This wasn't just Hamilton's worst race, it was a warning shot. A psychological collapse not from defeat, but from betrayal. Because this isn't about finishing P6, it's about being promised a sword and handed a spoon. Ferrari sold a vision. Legend joins legacy to rewrite history, but right now that vision is in pieces, scattered across telemetry sheets no one dares to read aloud. And yet, there's a storm building. Not despair, not surrender, something colder, sharper. Hamilton has been here before. Doubted, isolated, underestimated. What follows is never passive. It's calculated vengeance. If Ferrari listens, truly listens, Canada could be a turning point. But if they continue treating a generational talent like a setup variable, this story ends not with redemption, but rupture. The next races won't just define the SF25, they'll define Hamilton's Ferrari legacy, or the beginning of its unraveling. Either way, the clock is ticking, and the paddock? They're already watching the countdown. If you believe the truth deserves a voice, subscribe. The real story isn't over, it's just starting.